last race I did, I wasn't in a very good mood, so I decided not to record. And of course, it ends up being a fantastic race. Isn't that the way life goes? So anyways, I decided I'd try to do a somewhat different video. I recorded some of the replays from different angles. Tried to edit them together, and I'll do my best to try to comment over top. Let you know what's going through my mind. There was a lot of good decisions that I made in this race. So I found it interesting how much I've improved over the last year. So hopefully I can share with you where I see those improvements. And who knows, maybe if any of you watching are getting into this kind of stuff, it might help you out down the road. So, it is a reasonably action-packed, this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Pretty sure you will. I think for the majority of this race, I decided to show the chase cam view so you could see what's going on up ahead. Have a better understanding of what I'm seeing from a distance. But yeah, going into the first corners of races, first lap of every race, but in particular the first couple corners, you really got to take it careful. So as you can see, I'm going to go to the inside once it's safe. I'm the very last car on the track, so I'm going to take it to the inside and try to stay as far away from the wreckage as I can there. Very predictable stuff. Be extra cautious going into the second corner. Making sure that I leave room in case somebody comes up the outside. Okay, now I'm going to try to settle in. And I do notice that there's enough room to get by this car in front of me. The car in front of him, this red Ferrari, is far enough ahead that I wasn't worried about them getting into any kind of collisions. So that's a large pack up ahead, of course. Cars spinning off, getting hit. And meanwhile, I'm staying clear of all that kind of overly aggressive driving. But yeah, here I noticed there's a guy sitting on the middle of the road. And if I'm to be honest, never saw him until I was passing him live. And it's still hard to pick him up in the replays. So I guess that's why it's important to not be too aggressive. Especially when cars are close together in front of you. You got to understand that as you would be if somebody's pressuring you from behind, your attention isn't quite where it's going to be. Oh, look at this. Quick avoidance off into the grass. And this would really be a cockpit view would show how quick I had to avoid this guy. Yeah, good decisions. So now we're starting to see the race is starting to stretch out in front of us, and now we're racing. It's no longer about trying to not get into accidents. Now it's all about trying to get by people. So the focus has got to switch, just like that. One of the tactics that I like to use is try to poke your nose up the inside and then back out. And just like that, they can often make a little mistake. Which a few videos back, I did a race at Bathurst, and some of the drivers did that to me there, and I succumbed. Let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this car. Thank you very much, bro. That thing is gorgeous. So just another example of me going as far left as I can to make sure that guy had room and wasn't going to spin into me if he did lose control of the car. So again, it's about not being too greedy in those situations. So it's important to note when you're following someone and you get the chance, take note of how they're taking corners. And I remember this happening. Yeah, I backed out of that one. I saw those cars on the left and right, and I decided that guy isn't going to be aware that I'm coming up beside him, so I better give it up and give him room. And here's another guy trying to go into the pits, just misses me. I tell you, the spatial awareness of some people. It's not easy. We've all driven in rush hour before, and it can get pretty hairy. So, now look at this. I show him the inside there, and he goes very narrow into this corner, which was a mistake because now I got the run on him. So this pass was all set up by me going to the inside, making him react to it. Brands Hatch is not an easy track to drive either, so some of these tactics work better on tracks like this where there's a lot of undulation. A lot of these corners are very, very fast, like this one. So it's a challenge just to try to keep the car under control, let alone pay attention to what other cars are doing. So once you've got that down, once you've learned to track good enough where you are very comfortable with the car, these tactics become, well, more useful for you, but if somebody's doing them against you, they're less useful for them. So here I'm going to take the inside, go defensive, just to make sure I get this pass done. And I remember that I noticed in my rearview mirror he was a ways away, so I felt okay to come wide on the exit of that corner. So I started, well, technically I started 20th on the grid, but I did let 2 cars by me, so I started 22nd. And I'm not quite sure where I am right now, but it's got to be somewhere around 12th, maybe even higher up than that. Could be top 10. And I really haven't had to do much aggressive driving at all. It's just a matter of, again, being comfortable around a track and driving at your own pace without making mistakes. It's a little counterintuitive because you think that you have to be going as fast as you can all the time in a race, but that's just not reality. Especially for those of us who aren't so gifted, as we like to call them, aliens in racing. Those guys go on the limit for almost 100% of the race and never make mistakes, which is not that's not human. So for the rest of us mere mortals, this is the approach that we should be taking. Now, if I remember right, there's quite a few laps here before any action starts again, so I'll probably just speed up the video and pick it up again once some action starts. Yeah, so right now it's just about putting your head down and turning in good lap after good lap, trying to hit those target lap times that you know you're capable of doing. You know, not trying to push too hard, but making sure you're pushing hard enough to get good lap times. For me, I think that's 125 around this course. Minute 25 per lap. This actually was a really decent section of the race for me, because I didn't really make much mistakes at all, and I was able to just consistently reel in the guy in front of me. If we were watching this live, as I normally record, you'd see the gap just slowly coming down every corner, really. Just a little bit here and there. Slowly catching up to the guys at the front after all that mess and avoiding that I had to do in the first part of the race, pardon me. I guess I was wrong. I just noticed on the windshield that I'm position number 4 already, so I must have passed quite a few more cars than I thought in that first part. Or I didn't notice people in the pits as I was going past start-finish line. But so again, I'll be watching this guy to see if there's any area on the track that I feel he's a little weak. I have been doing that for the last couple laps. And if I remember right, yeah, I was just poking my nose in there trying to spook him a little bit. Worked a little, but not good enough. Anyway, as I was saying, I was watching him to see whereabouts I thought I could get a pass on, and I had determined that it was going to be the last corner of the race, of the track. Corner 1, 2, or 3. Those were the places. But he was weaker than me out of the last corner. But as you can see, I'm pretty close, and I give him a little look, try to make him make a mistake. Didn't work. Didn't work again. But if I remember right, there it is. Got a little bit of oversteer, and look how much that one little mistake gave him. Now we're going to watch from his perspective to see how I drive. So I'm staying right because I don't want him to be able to get the inside of the corner ever. And I'm going to park it over there. I'm not going to allow my car to move left coming out of the corner. And same thing coming into this. Basically, I'm trying to finish the pass. It's not really done yet. Still isn't really. I'm going defensive again. I'm going to park it. Absolutely park it. He's looking for that switchback, but it isn't there. And he hits me, right? But look at this. What a gentleman. He knew he was at fault, and he just let me go. Good on him. Sorry, I forget your name. I should have put your name up there, but good job, man. So I can clearly remember in this race thinking, okay, good, that's it. All I got to do is take it home. No problems. I was quicker than that guy anyways. I'll just pull away. It's all good. And like anything in life, when you get too relaxed, things can start to happen. Now, at no point do I really drive poorly. But I do start to take it a little easy, and I'm missing apexes a little bit more. I'm even starting to slide a little bit more. Just generally not paying attention to my driving. So coming out of Surtees, right about now is when I realize, oh, that's not the Mercedes behind me anymore. That's a Lexus. And he's gaining. And I get a little bit nervous. And here's another example of how a little slide makes a big difference. Look at the amount he gained on me there. There's another missed apex, and here he is. All of a sudden, he's within half a second. 2 little mistakes. So, as you can see, I'm not going defensive here. He's too far back, in my opinion. So that's another thing you need to learn in racing, and I'm going to go defensive here because he's got to run. I'm not good out of that first corner, so and I park it. That's right. Make sure that I leave him enough room on the outside. But you do need to learn, get an idea of how big the gap needs to be before you have to worry about going defensive, because it sure costs you a lot of time. If you take a corner too narrow, you're going to really lose a lot of time in that lap. More than you think. So I haven't really had to defend at all since. And they're both driving pretty well. I doubt I'm going to go defensive here. He's far too far away. But again, I'll have a bad corner here and a bad first corner. I just struggle with those two quite a bit. It's kind of half defensive. And I get a little bit of oversteer there, and I've got to go full defensive again. Now watch, he's going to go for a switchback, but because I parked the car, I am just not coming off that inside line, so he has nowhere to go, and he has to lift off. I mean, that's textbook defense right there. Now he's going to try to panic me, sell me a little bluff. I never bit. Learnt my lesson from Bathurst. And don't bother going defensive here. That's right. You could tell he got a little bit, not frustrated, but that last time that he went to the inside there was a little bit of desperation, trying to force me wide, trying to force me into a mistake, I should say. But right about here, I'm already starting to fist pump because I got it done. And the feeling when you come from the back of the field and you go through and you didn't even touch another car, in a public lobby. Oh, it's great. Anyway, that's a good race. A little bit of defending going on, some aggressive driving, and a lot of caution early on. You know, the trick is to figure out when you need to do those things. There's more advanced things as well that I haven't even as if I'm some pro. I have not learned yet, obviously. I mean, I'm nowhere near what those aliens do, and their racecraft is ridiculously good. So, but improving, every day improving, and that's what we're all looking for, I think. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that. Not really sure if I'm gonna enjoy listening to this back later, but hey, worth a shot.